Hi, I'm Victoria Pearson. I'm a freshman TV and film major from Columbia, Maryland, and today I'll be arguing why explicit music should not be protected under the First Amendment.
Hello, my name is Emily Green, and I'm a sophomore arty production major from the Bronx, New York, and today I'll be arguing why explicit music should be protected under the First Amendment. The First Amendment of the Bill of Rights protects the freedom of speech and expression. Therefore, it is unconstitutional to allow the censorship of music because of the notion that it is explicit. Music is a way for individuals to express themselves freely and is used by many as an outlet to express their thoughts, feelings, and others use it to tell stories and highlight their culture. Many artists use their music to recount their life stories or to warn others and teach life lessons and to prevent them from making the same mistakes. Some people even use explicit music as their drive to be better or to get them through tough times when they feel alone in their life experiences. But by allowing music to be censored, a false sense of what the world really is being created. Individuals are being shielded and left ignorant about the real world issues that people face. Additionally, music has been marked explicit just due to the inclusion of a single word deemed by others to be inappropriate, even if the entirety of a song is tame. This is another way of erasing the realities of life and stifling artists' freedom of speech. In the real world, people use curse words to emphasize their strong feelings about subjects and enhance the negative emotions the audience should be feeling from them. Though it may be possible to do so without curse words, the addition of them is often a reflection of artists' upbringing and culture and is a part of their self-expression.
Per the Constitution, it is unlawful to censor music or penalize an artist for what they choose to say in their music. However, I believe that in certain circumstances, it's crucial to provide regulation to the content being discussed in many of these songs. I feel that there has to be an exception to the idea of full protection under the law for the artist. This avoids censorship, but still regulates the kind of content that makes it into the music. In 2014, for example, an artist's lyrics were used against him in a court of law when his lyrics about committing a shooting were brought up as character evidence while on trial. This particular evidence was deemed insignificant as the time in which the lyrics were written and the crime committed were different. However, it's still up for debate if these kinds of situations can be dismissed. So yes, the lyrics may reflect reality. However, in an instance where the lyrics are incriminating or impose a real threat of behavior, specifically violent behavior, it's unjust to ignore the potential of violence simply because it's in a song. Now, I'm sure if YMW Melly were to tell the story of his murder counts, as he does in his song Murder on My Mind, to another person and not a producer, the situation would have ended a lot differently. Not to say that every artist who sings or raps about violence is incriminating, but the artist has an exception that others don't. Why is it that the threat of violence and violent behavior is excused in a song lyric, but not in real life? Music is often used as a mask, which is why all explicit lyrics, no matter the genre, cannot be blindly protected under the law.
Although sometimes music does incite or is a result of violence, individuals are responsible for their own actions, and artists can't be held accountable for the actions of those listening to their music. Even artists who have taken part in these actions have taken the precautions to prevent their influence in their own lives, and if not, they have faced the consequences for it. These precautions can be seen in the way artists shield their kids from consuming explicit music in their own households. One example can be seen when rapper Cardi B is seen in an Instagram live recording turning off her own explicit music when her child enters the room to prevent bad influences. The idea that explicit music should be censored for the well-being of others is unrealistic. Others will find out about things spoken about in music one way or another, be that in the news or via social media. It is not the artist's fault if they don't monitor the things they consume or they allow their children to see. In summary, explicit music should be protected by the First Amendment because it allows free expression of artists through their crafts and can be easily ignored by those who wish not to consume the work based on how explicit it is.
That's the issue though, right? So in the real world, there are laws in place to protect individuals from certain dangers that may come their way. It can't be ignored that some of these lyrics have an imminent effect on the behaviors of others, whether they realize it or not. And that's when it becomes a problem. Now, this isn't to place the blame on the artist. However, the effects of their music is technically in their hands, intentionally or unintentionally, because the intent of releasing the music is for it to be heard. So let's equate this to the likes of hate speech, which is a bit more cut and dry. Speech itself is not a crime. It is explicitly protected under the law, meaning people can say nearly whatever they want in any context. And now hearing that may be emotionally harmful to you or just a part of day-to-day life, as you stated, but when the speech incites violence or provokes motivation for criminal or violent behavior, it's when it becomes a problem. And yes, it lies in the hands of who said it. In 1984, the courts ruled that music was a form of expression that was protected by the First Amendment. The exceptions of speech and expression were when speech or expression incites imminent lawless action, or violates intellectual property, or poses true threats. So when this expression crosses that threshold of simply being expression or simply being a song and begins to encroach on the rights of others by inciting violence, it's no longer a case of expression. Violent song lyrics inspire violent behavior because of the repetitiveness and the correlational behavior, as well as idolizing or looking up to the artists who perpetuate these messages. Multiple studies have shown that the consumption of violent song lyrics have an effect on behavior. The songs provoke feelings of hostility. Now, the act of creating or listening to the music, no matter how explicit, is protected under the law. However, when you listen and that starts to create or inspire action is when the threshold is crossed and when music should be regulated beyond just the explicit warning on the song title.